Hello, everyone. This is Herb Strather on Detroit Talk Radio Show. Herb Strather Show on DetroitTalkRadio.com. And today we have a different but very exciting and hopefully informative discussion and interview. We have not had an advocacy discussion as much. We've traditionally had guests to come in and talk about some of the great programs in Detroit and the things that they're doing. But today I want to talk to you about Detroit's involvement. We have a pretty significant issue that's going on, and I think a lot of it is because we're not engaged as Detroiters or involved as much as we should be. As you know, Detroit is perhaps, I think without a question, the largest metropolitan area in the entire United States with African American. We have the largest population of African American, the largest black city. This is Detroit, and we have been through some difficult times. We've been through bankruptcy. People all over the world want to know which way is Detroit. They've been eating our lunch. They're buying up 70% of the real estate. Detroit is buying up the smallest part of the real estate. People whose parents or grandparents, should I say, lived here have come back in great groves and buying up, which has been good because this has increased the value of our real estate. But there are those who from overseas are buying our real estate, those in Texas and Florida and California and New York. And oftentimes their activities have not been that helpful. And in particularly, I want to shine the light on a really problem that we have here in Detroit that we have got to have Detroit's citizens advocacy on, and I need your help, and we got to work together. Now, whenever a homeowner loses their home, they have a right to redeem their home. They have a 6-month redemption right, and if they have the home half paid off, more than half paid off, they have a 12-month redemption. But whether it is 6 months or 12 months, and I think if it's a land contract, it could be limited to 90 days. Now, people from an outside are the majority buyers of properties in Detroit. And some of them have tried some pretty slick methodologies in terms of acquiring the properties or trying to take assets. There was a recent change about a year ago that allowed them to give a homeowner a notice that they wanted to inspect the home. And if they did not get notice from that homeowner back that they could come inside and inspect the home, they would immediately go and file in 36th District Court, and the redemption period would be immediately shortened to 30 days. Sometimes people had no idea. They may not have been at home. As a matter of fact, I was a victim of one of them. It was really something because they messed with the wrong person. You know what I mean? And we got this person, we made it so they could not bid for an entire year. So they was banned from bidding at the sheriff's sale because they tried to take a property I had bought without even notice. You know, you have to have proof of service. You got to give someone a notice. So there are different methodologies, but there is one that is very, very troubling right now. Since the beginning of the year, the Register of Deeds have decided that they're no longer going to accept the money and allow people to redeem their homes. Now, what traditionally happens is the Register of Deeds would accept the money and they would give you a certificate of redemption, provided the amount of the money is right. And the amount that you would pay someone is whatever they bid for at the auction. Say your property went to the auction and there was a bid. The highest bidder essentially bought the house subject to you being able to redeem it in 6 months or a year. And if you redeemed it, not only do you have to pay him the amount they bidded, but you also have to pay them a per diem interest rate. And it depends on if you go through them to redeem it or if you go straight to the Register of Deeds. If you go through them, they can charge a reasonable amount of money to do the paperwork. Most homeowners don't know it. Many of these unscrupulous bidders who buy the properties put down some pretty hefty fees. The sheriff's sales office recommend $300 to $1,100 depending on how big the transaction is. Obviously, if it's a $200,000 transaction, $1,100 would be appropriate. If you bought somebody's house for $3,000, $1,100 would be very inappropriate. More or less, $300 would be more appropriate. Well, there's been something phenomenal that has happened. And what has happened since January 1st is the registered deeds will not allow any redemption. They're acting simply as an escrow agent, essentially, to take the funds, and they will in fact record the actual receipt that they give you. For example, if the home is $10,000 redemption plus per diem, it may be $10,600. They'll take the $10,600, and you have to make sure it is the exact amount or more. And it's better to pay a little bit more, because they'll take the exact amount, but they will not give you the certificate of redemption. They are telling the homeowner to go to the mortgagor, to the buyer, whoever bought their home, and get their permission. Well, there's no incentive for the buyer to give permission. So this has put a serious cramp in what Strather Academy is trying to do. We have a homeowners program, Homeowner SOS, where we save homeowners. In other words, we would advance the funds to redeem the property, and then we would take and make a deal with the homeowner to get repaid with some reasonable return. But in the meantime, the homeowner will save their property. In every single case, the amount the homeowner has been able to buy the property back has been a gigantic difference in what the mortgage was. A case in point, we have a deal on Fullerton, $77,000 that is owed. We were able to buy the property back for $12,000, $13,000. Somewhere around $20,000 we would get back. Now, that's a good return for my students and investors. It's a tremendous return for the buyer who owed $77,000 and now can get their house back for $21,000. That is a good deal. Now, what has happened is that the investors have now said, we're not going to give you permission to buy your house back unless you give us some outrageous amount of money, whether the homeowner wants to or not. Or we are just flat out not doing it. The deal on Fullerton, for example, the investor from out of town wanted $35,000. And I was pleading with them to be more reasonable. The buyer they had a mortgage commitment from a local lender, Quicken Loans, as a matter of fact, and it was for $35,000. If he wanted the full $35,000, they wouldn't have enough for closing costs and the required repairs. They refused to do it. This has happened on 3 or 4 different occasions. So right now, what I'm saying to you, Detroit, is outsiders are buying Detroit property and prohibiting them from redeeming the property. And we've got to do something about it. And the time is for us to get off of our butt and do something about these issues that we have. This reflects a hard light on us. Like I said, we're the largest African-American population in the entire United States. We've been through some very difficult times. We've been through bankruptcy, scandals, collapse of the auto industry, the whole shot. Now we're coming back, and our values are psychologically depressed. Of course, there's a huge demand for property, and many of you know what I'm talking about, because every day people are overwhelming us wanting to know, do you have anything for rent? Is there a house for sale? Every day, the demand is off the hook, and in Detroit, there's the lowest inventory level since I've been born. This is according to the Detroit Association of Realtors, which I am a member of. We've never had such low inventory of ready available homes. So there is a huge demand for these homes, yet the prices are psychologically low. Now, you may say, Herb, why are prices so low? You know why prices are low? Because obviously the bankruptcy and scandals brought the prices way, way down. So, and the whole economy collapsed. And under the TARP program, there was a little provision in TARP that nobody really knew about during the previous administration, Barack Obama, and God bless him, I love him very much. He provided some kind of deal for the homeowners too, as they bailed the banks out. They said to the banks, look, you cannot go after homeowners for deficiencies. In other words, if you lost your home, the value collapsed, the mortgage allowed them to come back and sue you and put a judgment and collect the difference between what the home sold for at the sheriff's sale and what the existing mortgage balance was. The administration made a deal that they could not collect deficiencies. They had to waive it. In exchange for that, they got fully reimbursed. A well-intended program that went awire. I mean, it was just something. Because what eventually happened, everyone, is very, very simple. Since the banks were getting fully reimbursed, they didn't care what they sold the property for. They sold it for $500, $1,000. They sold it so cheap until it kind of psyched everybody out. Everybody was used to buying homes for a few $1,000s. Homes that were $100,000, $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. And you know what? I want to know what is amazing about it? During this entire period, hardly no homeowners showed up. No homeowners. Now, you couldn't short your mortgage. You know, the shorting the mortgage is, selling your property for less than the value. They would not let a homeowner buy under that circumstances. You had to short it to someone else. But you, your family, could not buy it. You, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, grandparents, or grandkids could not buy it. Now, your cousin and aunties probably could. But no one in your immediate family could buy it. But what was amazing, if it was actually foreclosed, then the laws in the state of Michigan, the redemption rights took over. These redemption rights is what we're talking about now. That is a right. It is a legal right. And the investors from out of town are saying, we're not going to sell you back the houses. Are we going to take this? Are we going to take this and let someone disenfranchise our entire community, our homeowners, ourselves, our children, our future? Listen, it is time we do something about this. Now, I told you I was going to give you some advocacy today, and I'm pretty upset about it right now, that people from out of state is coming in here, buying up our real estate and breaking the law. We've had a discussion with the Registry of Deeds, and they said, look, we're not in this business anymore. Now, what probably happened is they made a few mistakes. People may have paid the wrong amount. They did some wrong calculation, and maybe the mortgage company said, hey, look, you're $500 off, or you're $10 off or something. Or I don't know what happened. You understand? Maybe they took it a day late or something. I don't know. But they would normally take it and let you automatically redeem, and now they refuse to do it. This is something that they've done forever, and they were established, I guess, in the 1800s. And now the Registry of Deeds, Wayne County Registry of Deeds, refuse to issue certificates of redemption for homeowners unless the buyer or the mortgage company that's foreclosing tell them it's okay. And if you don't like it, go to court. Now, this have not been challenged yet, and we're going to go to court, but we want your advocacy. And I am going to, the last night I had a meeting with the lawyer about it. I said, I'm going to go on the radio show and I'm going to talk about this to our constituency because I want you to join us. Strather Academy, that's where I want you to go to, stratheracademy.com. And we're going to want you to sign up for our advocacy in this matter. And John, we're going to make sure that we alter our website and get it on today, so that by the time by Friday of this week, we will have it on. I want you to sign up and join us so that we can deliver a message. And to our county executive, Wayne Evans, you have the juice. Although Register of Deeds is a separate office, it may not be directly under you, but it is part of Wayne County, and we're asking you to help save us. You are a county executive. Will you use the influence of your office to see to it that Detroiters are not disenfranchised? Perhaps we can also go to the Attorney General. This is an unfair practice. But my issue right now is Detroiters' involvement. I'd like to know, Detroiters, are you all willing to get involved? Our phone number is 313-444-9691. I want you to take this, send it out to your friends, and those who are interested, I want you to at least call us at 313-444-9691 and say that you're willing to join in and help. Now, in this 1 minute before we take a break, Ken, hey Ken, how you doing, my friend? He wants me to talk about buying a house. I'm going to do that when we get back. I'm going to have some great excitement about how you can buy homes in Detroit right now for absolutely no money down whatsoever. And just hang on. We'll be right back to you. In the meantime, 313-444-9691. Call in. This is Herb Strather back, been an advocate today, urging Detroiters to get involved. And not only just protecting ourselves, but let's be proactive in buying up our own community. We got money. We're a very rich area, by the way. Why don't we buy up our own real estate? It is cheap. Why do we let others eat our lunch, buy up our real estate? Is it because we don't know? Well, I'm going to do something about it. I want to do something about it, and I want to put Detroiters first. And what we want to do in February the 3rd, and also February the 17th, we're going to have seminars. But the February the 3rd seminar is going to be a fabulous seminar because this is Black History Month, but it's Financial Freedom Month. And when I think about financial freedom, I'm talking about for Detroiters. And I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, I don't care. I'm inviting you all to our seminar. This is our Financial Freedom Seminar. It is February the 3rd at Tower Center on Grand River and Greenfield, 15400 Grand River. And I want you to bring your children. I got involved in real estate when I was 17. Now, let me tell you some of the subjects that are going to be discussed, which you would really like. Tax preparation. You know, there's a new tax law right now. We want to talk to you about the value of putting your business and getting your paycheck in an LLC if you can possibly do that. The tax rate alone is 25% less. So why would you take and just take the maximum tax rate when you can get a tax advantage rate? We want to talk to you about the dealing with family LLCs to get your children involved. Why should you take money at a high tax rate, pay taxes, and then take and try to provide the excess for your children, clothing, health, schooling, and college? Why don't you take before tax dollars? Let them do it. Let them own the company. Let them own some of your paycheck because they own it anyway, right? But they're not in a tax bracket right now. So we want to talk to you about that. We want you to come. If you're interested in empowering yourself, this is the time to do it. We're going to do it, and it's free. We're going to roll this out like you've never had it before. And then we're going to talk about banking. We're going to have the diversified credit union at our seminar, and they're bringing 2 or 3 people to open up bank accounts. They have ways that you can instantly reestablish your credit. You can put money in the bank, take your paycheck you're getting, put it in the bank, open up an account, and borrow that money back out under a shareholder loan. And pay as agreed, pay as agreed, pay as agreed. It may only be $1,000. It don't have to be $10,000 or $100,000. But you can repair your credit. These are credit repair loans. Or better yet, you could take out a credit card. Now, I'm not going to give you all the information because I want you there, but they'll give you credit cards. It may have to be a secured credit card, but they'll do it where it is registered as a credit card. So you can rebuild your credit. There's other ways to rebuild your credit, like joining others' trade accounts, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about all of that. And then, of course, you're going to have me there talking about real estate, how you can leverage real estate today and pull cash out. Obviously, if real estate is 70% depressed, if you structure the deal right, you can buy the real estate and take cash out at the same time. Isn't that worth trying to learn how to do? All you need is one good deal right now, and your child's education is paid for. Your retirement is more enhanced. Stop working for the man every night and day. Get some assets right now for yourself. Don't you want this for your family? Listen, I got something I want to show you. Fellas, look at this. This is what we call our mastermind, You know, people come into our town, and they absolutely take twice a month, and they do these what they call their coaching sessions. They charge you a few hundred up to $1,000 for a weekend, and then they charge you $30,000 to $50,000 a year to coach. Well, we're a coach, and guess what? Instead of charging you $30,000 to $50,000 a year, how about if it was $500? And how about if you could pay it for $45? And how about doing February and March, we're going to say it's $22.50 for those of you who want to do it. And what you're going to do, you're going to get weekly power podcasts and videos. What you're getting now, you're going to get automatically, because sometimes you may not be able to really look at it. You're going to get monthly graduate case studies showing you how deals we've actually done that you can't learn at Harvard, University of Michigan, or Yale. Although I do teach at Harvard sometimes. That's a little commercial there. You're going to get, let me get it straight, you're going to get 4 quarterly wealth webinars showing you how to create wealth. You're going to get cashback deal dashboard, putting deals up, deals you can buy and structure. Ken, I'm on the case right now. And then we got, don't buy it home alone. Don't try it home alone. And that is, if you want to do deals, why try it home alone? We'll give you some coaching. Homeowner SOS, what we've been talking about. People losing their homes, will help you structure and rescue your home. And then we give you 2 hours of our classroom experience. This is something, and then our monthly mastermind app with a chat room. You got a question, just call the coach. And then for those of you who know what you want to do and you're going to jump in for the annually, you're going to get a signed copy of my brand new book, and that's priceless. All of this come to $20,000 just for $500. You save $19,000. So here it is. Those of you who want to get involved, I'd like for you to go straight to our website, stratheracademy.com, and join the mastermind. Or call me at 313-444-9691. Now, we're going to take a break, but before we take the break, I want to tell you we got something really good. We got Sean White here, and Sean is with Develop Detroit LLC. And Sean is going to tell us about its creation and about what it's doing, and I want you to stay tuned. Buckle up. Call some of your friends. Tell them Herb Strather and Sean White is on on Detroit Talk Radio, and you don't want to miss it. We'll be back with you in a minute. All right, everybody. We are back. Herb Strather on DetroitTalkRadio.com. And I'm going to pause my advocacy for a minute to give you something really good. I have a young man by the name of Sean White. Sean White. He's from the Detroit area, but I want to let him tell you about it. I was just chatting with him. He's only 30 years old. I'm happy about that. I remember when I was 30 years old in the business, Sean. It's such a great age. It's so exciting. It's really good to be alive and young in Detroit now. Don't you think so, man?
It is, man. It's one of the reasons I moved here. I moved here about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay. Well, take us all the way back. Where were you born, and how did you get here?
Yeah, so my parents grew up in a little town in Louisiana called Shreveport.
Oh, so, Shreveport. Yeah. Okay.
So,
no question. I've been there.
Yeah, went to school at Southern University. That's where we met. And yeah.
Oh, you kidding on John? That's where he went, you know.
Oh, nice.
Is it true that they got 30 women to every guy there? They still got that ratio?
No comment. It might be. But they met there, fell in love, and my father moved, got an offer to go to Wisconsin for grad school. So he did that. Then General Motors recruited him here. So, so we moved here. I was born in Southfield, grew up there, moved to Novi, then moved to Ann Arbor to attend the University of Michigan. Lived in Ann Arbor for close to 10 years.
Wow.
A little over 10 years.
So you went to Michigan then?
Yeah, I went to Michigan. Was in the business school there. And then
That's Ross School of Business?
Ross School of Business.
You know, I've done a couple $100 million with Steve Ross.
You know, he's so it was the business school before. I think he named it just before I got there.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet him a couple times. And
have you ever met him? You said you have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
guy.
he is really
very
is.
unassuming. You may not know him if you ran into him. Very humble, but I had the chance to meet him a couple times at different events at the school.
Yes.
So I was there for a while, stayed and did my master's as well, and then had some friends who moved into the city, and so just started kind of coming as a 22, 23-year-old, and having some fun out here, and also start to get a little bit more involved, in the volunteer space. And so when I was looking to actually purchase a home, was looking at it in Ann Arbor, and then I just started thinking it through all the way and kind of looking at some of the prices out here, and the
where the
opportunities
excitement
out here.
was.
Yeah, and all the excitement, man. And so decided to actually buy a condo in Midtown. So,
okay.
So I've been there now for close to a year and a half.
A year and a half. So you don't have to tell me the address, but tell me what price per foot.
Well, when I got it, it was close to $240
a foot.
$240 a foot.
You hear that, everybody? $240 a foot.
Yeah. So it's of course climbed since then. We have some other folks in the building who have sold for a little bit more than that. But,
well, that is amazing, because that is very significant, everyone, because the magic number to build without subsidy is $3 a foot. And the Hudson building is really going up at $3 a foot or north of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is exciting times in Detroit when we can actually build a high rise without subsidy. Although I believe that Hudson, the site there is well subsidized at this point, so it's a very profitable venture for Mr. Gilbert. And I'm not mad at him, because he's done a lot of great things.
He has.
So you're excited about living in the city?
Yeah. It's I joke around with friends and with my family. It was funny. My dad proposed to my mom at Sinbad's, and they hadn't been downtown actually very much. You know, they had myself. I have a twin brother.
You mean a long time ago when you proposed?
A long time. Yeah, a long time ago. And so
oh my God,
they hadn't ventured into the city a ton, because they had myself, my twin brother, and my little brother.
Oh, you got a twin?
Yeah,
identical.
We're fraternal.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he's a good looking one. He's a smart one too. But we, they had 3 guys under the age of 2, so we didn't do a ton in the city other than some after school programs and things like that. And we went to church a couple of times out here. We went to Word of Faith.
Word of Faith. Oh yeah, Keith Butler.
Yes. So that was our main church. But we had a couple of family friends who were pastors at churches out here. So, but we, they really didn't venture out here very much. In the last 5 to 7 years, and so
they're happy you're here.
Yeah, well, I told them I was moving. They're like, "You're moving to Detroit?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm moving to Detroit. Found a great spot. It's walkable. It's in a walkable neighborhood. So
that's really great. By the way, real quick, and we'll get into the meat of things. Well, what did your brother do?
So my brother works for an insurance company.
Insurance? Okay.
My twin brother, and then my little brother is at Duke University. He's getting his MBA there.
Oh my God,
he's
that's
a first
something.
year. Yeah. We're excited for him.
We have a lot in common. I used to sell insurance myself.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And my daughter went to Duke.
Oh, nice.
How about that? Well, let's get into some really some of the really meat. So now you with the Develop Detroit.
Yeah.
And, we're so happy about it. Maybe you can brief us really quickly how Develop Detroit came into existence from your perspective. Give us a 2-minute synopsis.
Yeah.
What is Develop Detroit, and how was it created?
Yeah, so Develop Detroit is a nonprofit, mission-based developer here in the city of Detroit. We were incubated by what we call sort of a venture philanthropist called the Housing Partnership Network. So they're based in Boston. They've been operating for decades, and essentially what they do is they kind of look out for different markets across the country and see what some of the market needs are. Mm-hmm. And so they had been doing that in a couple of the foundations here. In 2014, we're leading a policy meeting, and at that meeting, they kind of were talking about some of the affordable housing developers that had kind of sprouted up recently, and one of those was the Gulf Coast Housing Partnership down in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. That had been incubated shortly after Hurricane Katrina. So there started to be some conversation around whether or not that model could be deployed here in Detroit.
Okay.
A well-capitalized, high-capacity, mission-based developer that could go into the neighborhoods and develop high-quality, affordable housing, preserve affordability in areas where there was market rate conversion threat. And then also do some innovative, transformative developments in the downtown core business district area. So we were actually incorporated. We're coming up on 3 years. It'll be in June of this year. So in the last 2.5 years, we've been busy. Led by Sonia Mays, who is incredible, and so we've been able to take some startup capital from J.P. Morgan Chase, the Ford Foundation, the Kresge Foundation, and then a few other investors, and we've leveraged that into close to 900 units in our
Oh my
production
God!
pipeline.
You have 900 units in your pipeline right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's very exciting. For those of you who may not know, Sonia Mays is a native Detroiter. She went to Renaissance High School. She went to New York, and she came back doing the bankruptcy. And you know what? When she came in that day, it was the NAACP annual affair dinner, and I was the first one she met. I said, "Hello, Belle." She was looking good, you know. I said, "How are you doing?" So we joke about it because I was the very first person she met. She kind of got off the plane and came straight in there, you know.
Wow.
So we had a very pleasant. We've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
She's a member of the Detroit Civic Optimist Club. We meet at 7:30 on Tuesdays, and you're invited. And all of you out there, you can come as my guest. The first Tuesday of every month is at the top of the Milliner Center, which is Renaissance City Apartments now, in the penthouse, 7:30 a.m. I'm going to invite you, and I'm going to buy everybody out there breakfast, but I know you're not going to come. But if you got enough guts, come. It is a Optimist Club consisting of Detroit civic leaders and real estate developers and directors of departments in the city of Detroit.
That's
so it was
great.
put together. I build Optimist Clubs all around the world.
Yeah.
And this is one I'm very happy about because my commission here is to get Detroit developed, and you guys are leading the way. So tell us about some of the projects you do. Have any been completed at this point?
Yeah, so we own and operate a few different buildings here in the city. So we're proud of all of them. We've you know how it is here in the city and really in any other major urban areas. It's a lot of hard work.
Yes.
So a couple of other developments that we're really excited about. We about a year and a half ago started taking a look at a senior community in Woodbridge, and last year, third quarter, actually early third quarter, we were able to close in on that property. It's a 53 unit senior community. Affordable units, and it was being marketed as an opportunity maybe to convert. Obviously, in that area, you know, you've got Wayne State right there.
Right.
Town is a burgeoning area where you're seeing some appreciation in rents and sale prices, and so we bought that building. We didn't want any of the residents to be displaced, so bought the building. And then we actually, with all of our developments, what we try to do is build mixed income, mixed-use communities. And so phase one will be to completely rehab.
And where exactly is it located? What's the
It's
intersection?
off of Trumbull.
Okay.
Yeah, off of Trumbull, right.
Well,
right
it's
there.
next to my development, Woodbridge Estates.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, right there.
Yes.
Which
That is
I
exciting.
don't live too far from actually, and so I've driven through there quite a bit. I have some friends actually who live there, and
Are they excited about living there?
oh yeah. It's a beautiful development.
Thank you.
Truly is. And so I'll drive past there. I'll see some baseball games occasionally around there, and just a lot starting to kind of sprout up there. But it's right off of Trumbull.
Yes.
And so in that first phase, we're going to
And you said
completely rehab
53
it.
units, you think?
53 units.
Oh, that is
yeah.
really exciting.
Yeah,
that is really
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
So it's really beginning to, thicken up around there right now. The
Absolutely.
More density.
Yeah.
When Woodbridge Estates was built, I had a choice. It was $100 million it was going to cost us, and Michigan gives a 12% development fee.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to build those large units,
Mm-hmm.
And they said, Herb, why don't you just build a regular size, like 800 or 900, because you've had all this additional space, you're only going to get so much money.
Sure.
And instead of making $12 million, you'll make $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
I had to think about it. I said, you know what? I got one life to live. I'll take the $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But let's just build the finest development, Hope 6. So we did win a national award for the number one Hope 6 in the country a few years back. But what happened is that the rents were locked in at $1 a foot, basically. So we was getting $1,400. So it wasn't making any money on
Sure,
it. Let's get
sure.
that straight, okay? On the market rate side. But now those rents are $3,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an amazing thing. I had no idea that would ever happen. So I'm glad that we made the right decision at the time. My partners thought I was kind of half crazy, I took my money and their money.
Right.
Nobody made any money, They said, man, what are you doing? I said, listen, we only got one life to live.
You're a future teller because that's a great area.
Well,
So,
that is really good.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, what are you? And finish. Tell us about a few more projects there.
Yeah. So we're doing that one again, doing a full rehab, and building some new construction right on that perimeter to, as you said, add some density and bring some services and some retail to that community. We're also looking at development in Midtown, right across from Seva and the Namdi Gallery and sort of kitty corner from MoCat. So that'll be an 84-unit mixed income, mixed use.
That's going to be new?
Yeah, it'll be new construction. We're starting construction this year.
Oh my
so
God,
I'm very
that's
excited
exciting.
about that. And
you're going to be getting $2.50 to $3 a foot, I bet.
Yeah, it's going to be about 25% of the units will be affordable, and the other will be.
I think it'll be mini units or.
You know, that we're still kind of going through that final process in terms of the development cycle, but that's definitely been one of the ideas that's been brought up. So. Well,
that's really great. You know, to tell Sonia over there that she might want to consider a front and back door to the elevators. And some of the units, you know, you open up the back door and you're in the unit. You know what I mean? That'll add another 50 cents of fun. You know, this is so exciting. I want us to take it, continue this. We're going to have to take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back. Yeah. This is exciting, Detroit. And all of my Facebook friends, we want you to call all your friends up, let them know what's going on. Herb Strather, this is the Herb Strather and Sean White Show. Sean from Develop Detroit. And he is a native Detroiter. And he's now a real estate developer. Okay. All right, we're back. Herb Strather and Sean White. Sean is with Develop Detroit, LLC. It's a 501c3 that was created out of the bankruptcy, and it is supported by the major philanthropists here, the major philanthropic organizations. You know, Sean, I don't know if you know, but the southeastern Michigan it has the strongest philanthropic community in the United States. Yeah. Only L.A. competes with us. I mean, that's really exciting. Even during the tough times, we're there, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. It makes my job easier. I'll say that.
So what do you do over there, Sean?
Yeah. So for close to 7 years, I was actually raising money for the University of Michigan.
Really?
And in fact, when I first moved to Detroit, I was still kind of commuting from Detroit to Ann Arbor. And so I got an opportunity to interview over at Develop Detroit. They were looking to hire a position, a director of fund development position. And so, so I was hired in May, and essentially my job is to raise capital for the organization, working with philanthropic partners. So you mentioned the foundation community here, which has been there's no way we'd be in a position that we are now without the support of the Ford Foundation, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Kresge, and a host of others. And on the other side, we're actually really excited about this. We're going to be launching our own private equity fund to be able to invest dollars into real estate here in the city. We talk a lot about, you know, in the real estate business and certainly in the affordable housing sector, the importance of enterprise level capital to be able to go out and make, you know, acquisitions and do pre-development work and that sort of thing. And so we'll be launching that hopefully in the next month or two. So we're excited about that. So my job is essentially to work with investors in the city, and then, as you know, we're starting to get looks from other investors outside of the city and outside of Southeast Michigan. So I'll be working with those individuals as well, so that we can, you know, bring some exciting developments to the neighborhoods here.
So are you working on your private placement memorandum now?
Yeah, you know, I know that's something that has caused Sonia and I quite a bit of stress and potentially some headaches along the way, but very, very, very close to being done with that.
Well, you know, I've done a dozen private placement memorandums.
Okay.
I've spent maybe $3-4 million on them. I'm serious. Probably $3 million, let me tell you. And so now I teach it in my class. I give everybody a free one. You know, we go over it. So you tell Sonia if you need some help on that. You know, I've raised $75 million all by myself. You know what I'm saying? And we've paid out maybe about $160 million. Now, not every single, during the recession, we got kind of caught up in some deals. But times are back right now, and my investors have, I would say that the majority of them are happy. You know what I'm saying? There's a few around the edges we got to take it, you know. But it is very exciting. I know a thing or two about raising capital, but one of the things we teach at Strather Academy, you know, is how to do deals without cash. You know, I'm doing a deal right now, and I was telling Sonia about it because I got a deal. I want to do a bargain gift sale with her. Okay. I want you to look that up and kind of study that.
Yeah.
That's a tool that many of the universities may use. Say, you know, you got you a piece of real estate, a farm or whatever, you know, or you have an encumbered piece of real estate with a mortgage on it. You owe $500,000. It's worth $1.2 million. You know, you may say to them, look, I need some cash, so I'm going to let's say it's worth $1 million, you owe $1 million. You may say, I'm going to, if you just want to give it to them, you'll give them 50% for the $500,000 you owe.
Sure.
Okay? Because you have to recognize that. And you'll donate the other for $1. Now, if you want to take some cash out, you may say, look, I'll sell you 70% for $700,000, and I'll donate 30% for $1.
Yep.
So you don't get the money and then give it to them. You can donate it, and you can just take a tax write-off. And now that tax write-off is applicable to your adjusted gross income. And the only thing that you can write off your adjusted gross income is a charitable donation.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And these gift sales, these charitable donations, are good for 60 months. Now, if you don't use them up, of course, they burn off at that
Sure.
point. But I would love to sit down with you and Sonia and talk about how we can do some of those. I'm doing one right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the great things about it is when you're buying real estate, you have a lot of tools in your toolbox. You can say, look, the deal that I'm putting together, now I won't say the address, everybody, but here's a lesson for those of you, especially the philanthropic organizations or the 501c3s. You can take a deal if your mission is affordable housing, and you can make your case and get a pilot. You know what a pilot is, a payment in lieu of taxes.
Yep.
And you can merely do a NOFA. There's a NOFA out right now, notification of funds available, that the city of Detroit is rolling out, and they're giving out grant money. They're making loans that can, soft loans. I don't know if you guys have an application in on one.
Sure.
Well, that's good. You probably do, eh?
Yeah. And I was going to say, we try to find as many financing funding sources as we can, right? And
Right.
And I was also going to say, I'm all about lowering your AGI as much as possible. So we'll definitely have to connect on
Yeah,
the.
it's no question about it. But the interesting thing about it, you can take a normal piece of real estate and convert it to a pilot. You can jump the taxes to a pilot. You can increase that net operating income very significantly. You can increase it significantly enough till the seller, let's say if it's worth $1 million and you can get rid of $30,000 worth of taxes, and all of a sudden you get $1.4 million, $1.5 million, depending on what the cap rate is. Well, they can donate that portion to you. It's a win-win for them.
Sure.
Because they still get their $1 million, or they may take a little less now,
Right.
and then donate the difference to you. They can donate it to you from a partnership, from a LLC's interest, and so you join the partnership. You join the LLC, and you go to the bank, not as a buyer, but as a borrower.
Sure.
You walk in, because you own it already.
Yeah,
so you walk
yeah.
in, refinance. And if you want to go in as a buyer, they'll just donate the real estate. They'll sell you so much real estate and donate some, and you can be a buyer. But the ideal is that you never, ever have to put the money in. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're a really sharp young man. I would love for you to join the academy.
Yeah.
I would give you guys like a really special deal. I was telling Sonia I'd like to get some of her Sharpies over there. Because I would like to share you with my experience.
Sure.
Because I've done a couple billion in deals. And, I was born in Detroit very poor. For me to do $2 billion is something. I still can't
for anyone to do $2 billion is something, right? I mean, that's incredible.
I still can't forget it, but believe it almost. But I have a very burning desire to make sure some of this come out into the right minds. And you're a Sharpie, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I try to soak up as much wisdom as possible. So if you're willing to share, I'm willing to learn.
I'm willing to take you under my arms and help you there. And I want you to tell Sonia that I'm looking forward to a lunch with her. We're going to sit down and really do it. So right now, that is very exciting. Detroit. So you're moving into a phase that you're going to be rolling out a private placement memorandum. What you're going to be about? You're going to raise about $50 million or something.
For this first fund, we're looking at somewhere between 10 and 20 million. So
10 and 20
obviously,
million.
we've been on the marketplace. We have an idea about the level of investment that a few different investors are comfortable with and interested in. So it'll be somewhere in that range probably for this first fund, obviously with the idea to scale up as.
All right. Well, I want you to talk to her about this.
Yeah.
This is basically the same philosophy I talk to my students about. And that is, so you got cash. You got $500,000. You got $1 million in the bank, right?
Yeah.
I say never spend it. So let's say you raise $10 to $20 million. I know the traditional debt equity, arrangement that you do. We're going to buy this, we're going to put 20% out, I'm going to do this and this and this. Once you spend it, you don't have it no more. I say never spend it. Just put it in the bank for decoration and leverage. You can always figure out how to buy it without money.
Sure.
You can buy it a lot of different ways without putting up a dime. And I like to explore those different types of methodologies. And like I said, particularly gift sales are really off the hook. If you're building a brand new building, you can have somebody contribute to the land under a subordinated ground lease,
Sure.
and they participate. We built the very first Kmart in the city like that, which is now a Home Depot. It's on 7 Mile and Myers.
Yeah.
So we joint ventured with a developer. We wanted to be in the deal. They had us as a 501c3 as a limited partner. I mean, we bought the land, we had tied the land up, and it was a value transaction. You got to get something that's a value, right? And so why would a nonprofit be a limited partner? It doesn't make any sense. We can't use the write-off. It makes absolutely no sense. So I said, I'll tell you what we do. We'll give you a subordinated ground lease, which means that we're subordinating to a first mortgage and we're taking risks. And we'll just split the cash flow down the middle.
Yeah.
So, Kmart was always number 1 to number 5 in terms of sales. And our cash flow was over $100,000 a year. It was probably the greatest, because most ground leases, they get 5%.
Sure.
Not 50% of the cash flow. I don't think in history anybody ever got 50%.
That sounds like a pretty good deal.
That is a fabulous deal. So sometimes when you're looking for, because if you buy the land, that's pretty much the equity that you need.
Sure.
So
Sure.
if somebody subordinate the land and take a ground lease, okay, they participate with you until after the bad boy is built. Look at the value of their property now. They can get in and they can sell that independently, or you could go syndicate that, if you will.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah,
Syndicate the ground lease.
Yep.
But never spend your money. You tell a soldier, I said, never spend the money. Because you're going to have 1,000 investors and you're going to, I don't want to put you out of business, though, because you got to raise money, Sean.
You know what? I will say this. We've been fortunate because a lot of the foundations that we were talking to early on understood the importance of balance sheet equity.
Right.
And so we were able to attract investments under that source and obviously go to the market and lever up. And so
With a balance sheet.
With a balance sheet, which is difficult, obviously, if you're a nonprofit developer just getting started. You don't have any developments. You don't have any strong assets on your balance sheet. And so for us, it was just an incredible partnership with some of the with our philanthropic partners here in the city to say, hey, we know that you're going to need some equity to go to the banks and lever up. So we, like I said, both working with J.P. Morgan Chase and the Ford Foundation, and also with Kresge, credit enhancements and balance sheet equity, really anything you need, sourcing of funding that we need, we'll talk to them about that. And they have really talented people that understand what the market is here and understand how we can deploy some of those sources.
And J.P. Morgan Chase did really step up, and we're very happy about that.
Yeah.
This has been a wonderful session. We hope we've hoped you've learned some valuable things, something you can use. I want to now remember to invite you to our seminar this Saturday at 1:00 p.m., 15400 Grand River. Go to stratheracademy.com and register, or call me at 313-444-9691. Herb Strather. Sean, it's just been such a great experience. I'm so excited, man, and so you've hired quite a few of you young people down there, I would assume.
Yeah, there's a few of us now. We're up to a staff of 10.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, I tell Sonia, just get me down there, and I would like to just talk with your staff. Let's have dinner and let me take and just share, just empty my mind.
Sure.
One of the staff persons, I forgot his name. His father is Bill Lieberson, and his father and I have done over 100. His grandfather have done over 100 transactions together. He said, my grandfather. So it was just very exciting. I'd never even met him. He wasn't born when I started doing his grandfather. His grandfather has been with me at least 1.5 billion transactions, and he now works for you guys down there. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of his name. It's a young Jewish young man. Oren. Yes. Hey, Oren, my man.
Oren is one of my favorite people in the world. He's
it's
a great,
just so
great
exciting.
guy.
Listen, everyone. we want you to take and be able to have your dream home. You have a chance to do it now because real estate values are psychologically depressed. But the philanthropic community that funded Develop Detroit has also funded Detroit Home Mortgage, where they've put up they made a $40 million bet, and they said we'll loan you $75,000 over and above the market value if you're buying or buying in rehab. They don't care. And if you get in trouble, you can't pay it back, you can unwind the transaction, you will have no liability. They're doing this because they know values are psychologically depressed. There's no way in the world you could have a tremendous demand, a low supply, a tremendously low interest rate, and at the same time prices be low. That is not possible. You economists and everybody, you know that. Prices are low because the banks painted themselves in a corner doing the special HARP programs that reimburse the banks, and they've created a very low comp right now. And it is the appraisers, with all of the Dodd-Frank regs and everything, is being very careful to tread on water. So they've given them away. Say, look, let's supply and demand rule. And one other thing I want to tell you, this is a hint for you. If you want to know about the values, what influences appraiser most is a purchase agreement. I had a closing last week, by the way, and you know what the closing people said? They said that of the last 100 transactions, the values have came back on the amount of the purchase agreements. Now, they get those values off Realcom and the like, so it's not, a secret. But the main thing is that come where the dewdrops of mercy shine bright. Come to Strather Academy. We'll show you how to buy a piece of real estate, take the maximum seller concessions, and at the time you can close the deal and you can get what you need. You can put solar paneling on your roof to sell it back to Detroit Edison. You can build you a wall, just build the wall right in, your screens and everything into a wall. You can tear the kitchen walls down and build countertops and things like this. And you can finance all of this. NACA does the same thing. NACA will finance 100% of the after repair value plus amount 50% of that for repairs only, whereas Detroit Home Mortgage will go all the way. But NACA has 30-year financing at 3.6%. It's the cheapest way to go if you have the value already there. And if the value is not there, then Detroit Home Mortgage would go. But just come to us, Strather Academy. Come this Saturday. It's going to be free from 1 to 3. And if you can't remember anything else, then remember my number, 313-444-9691. And Sean, thank you so much, man. Thank you. This is Sean White from Develop Detroit. Remember, Develop Detroit. They're doing some tremendous things, and just follow us as we go through this process. And everybody over at Develop Detroit, thank you for everything that you do. I love you, Sonia. And I will tell you that we're wrapping it up right now. John, it's wrapping up time, right?
It's wrapping up, but would Sean like to leave his phone number also?
Yeah, Sean, do you want to leave your phone number? Somebody got some deals you want to joint venture. You've assembled some land somewhere and you want to joint venture. Then, Sean, give them your number.
Yeah, 248-974-5624.
That's it. You got us, and you got my phone number, 313-444-9691. And you can join our mastermind group. Instead of you paying $50,000 for coaching, we'll show you how to do it for $500. Say you $45,000, $40,000. How's that? Just call us, 313-444-9691. This is Herb Strather. We had a fabulous show. And next week, we're going to have Eric Sabri as our guest. And we're going to talk about the taxes, and I'm going to tell you something that you have never heard, if you let me say it. And finally, remember our advocacy. We want to make sure that the people in the city of Detroit have the right to redeem their homes. And right now, out-of-state developers are buying it up, and they're refusing to allow Detroiters to redeem their home. We want you to call us up and say, Herb, I am with you. Put me on the task force. I'll call up Wayne Evans, I call up Bernard Youngblood, and I will tell them we're going to give you all the ammunition you need because we're not going to take this lying down. I'll see you next week.